Hey, what's up, YouTube? We're back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about the Exo Experts Warbond. We're going to be reviewing it, talking about the pros, cons, a little bit of the controversy that's currently going on with the Warbond, and just my thoughts and opinion over on the overall package and how they're doing with the Warbond experience. So just before we get started, if you haven't hit the subscribe button or liked a video of mine, it really helps me out in the future with any content that might be coming out. You guys will get notified first, so that would really be awesome. And we have many more videos planned for Helldivers, including new Warbonds and the future major updates. So stay tuned. All right, so starting with the Exo Experts. I guess we should get it out of the way. A little bit of the controversy around this Warbond is, and then you've probably been seeing, maybe many of you haven't actually like fully dived into why, but it's a mech Warbond. And some people are very unhappy about the fact that we are getting more mechs that are not free, similar to how previous mechs like 2 years ago were added to the game to everybody. You just buy them with like, you know, your requisition slips and you're good to go. Arrowhead has responded and said, well, just like how we add alternates to other weapons and stratagems in Warbonds, they felt like the exosuits were fine in this case, and they offer it here. Now, there isn't anything other than that mech related. Everything else is pretty bog standard as far as a new submachine gun variant. This is actually a submachine gun variant of a gun that actually you need to pay real money for, aka the Knight. We get a machine gun variant, this time the expendable, like basically a stalwart, and then you get the missile pistol, which are very bog standard, but the two controversial ones are the lumber and the breakthrough. Personally, this is my own personal opinion on the matter. At the end of the day, I view Warbonds as a form of progression in the game. Some may not agree with that, but it is something that you work towards if you don't pay. And they've already come out and said, for the most part, that most players don't pay for Warbonds. They just grind them out or just play and look at them over time, right? So it is a form of progression that you can't just get through playing or just through grinding, right? And that's how I've kind of always looked at Warbonds. And I would have been really disappointed if, let's say, the rumored motorbike or APC was in a Warbond. I'd be pretty up in arms and just saying, like, that's not cool, Arrowhead. That should have been something that a community, you know, had to work together for to get, similar to like the tank or the FRV or the exosuits and stuff like that. So it is honestly something that like it didn't really bother me, and it wasn't until after I saw the uproar of the overall Warbond that like I started to realize why people were angry. I didn't understand it at first because it personally just looked like just another Warbond with some variants of weapons that we kind of get already, right? We already get lots of different versions of different weapons we already have, just with different bits and bobs essentially thrown in. So anyways, controversy over. Let me know in the comments down below how you guys feel. Just please don't take it out on me. Just my personal opinion. You have the right to your opinion, I have the right of mine. It is what it is. But yeah, let's get into it. Starting off, we have the Gallant. It is, like I just said, a variant of the Knight SMG. So it's going down from 90 damage to 65 per shot. Same capacity, same fire rate, same recoil. I believe everything else is basically the same, even attachments. You'll see here that it says capacity 70. That's because I have the upgraded mag on it. It goes from 50 to 70. So you lose damage for some medium armor pen. It's basically the exact same formula they use for the Liberator versus the Liberator Penetrator, right? So you gain a little bit of armor pen, but you lose some damage. It feels good, but it's an absolute bullet hose. So I highly recommend swapping the fire mode to burst fire in a lot of situations, because the raw fire rate kind of screws you over more than helps you, because you overshoot and you waste a lot of ammo on basically, you know, a dead Terminid that, you know, died 10 shots earlier, right? Because you're just not reacting in time because it's 1,300 rounds per minute. But the attachments are good. You see here that I have the vertical foregrip and I have a flash hider on it. Probably going to be upgrading to a compensator in the future. A solid 1.5x multiplier on the scope just to not affect the ergo, and the extended bag. It feels good, but I would probably rather use the normal Knight or just a slower firing SMG just so my ammo goes further. I was using this a lot on the Gloom variant that we got back, and it's been readjusted and so on and so forth with the super speed. If they walk into the spores, by the way, it's not the armor that's bugging out. I've seen that all over the place. It's the spores. If they walk into the red clouds of spores, they get like the rage virus. So keep that in mind. So yeah, I like it. I don't think I'm going to put it very high on any particular tier list. It's probably like a B plus on the vast majority of factions. You know, it's medium pens, so it's probably going to be higher on something like bots, you know, maybe A minus, but I think on bugs and Illuminate, it would probably be like a B plus. It's just the ammo capacity or the ammo reserves is the main problem I have with it. You're just going to go through it so fast. It's going to be a weapon that's going to be paired with the supply backpack, or you're going to be constantly checking for that resupply call in from your ship. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough, but it's an absolute demon at just deleting enemies in front of you, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The armor, pretty interesting. We have Oxygenator, which is increasing wearer's walking, which is basically just holding W or just holding the forward key, sprinting, running, and slide speed and duration of slides. Basically, it's the go fast, gotta go fast. And it's a particularly interesting armor set only for the light variant. And I'll get into why in a second, but you go from, you know, light speed running, like light armor running, to even faster than normal. It's about, you know, what you would see from heavy to medium or medium to light. It's just like going from light to naked. I don't know. Basically, it's just another speed further. As far as the sliding and the duration of sliding, it's if you find a hill, you can slide down it faster and you'll probably go further. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't particularly like sliding in this game. I think it looks kind of clunky and it doesn't really do anything. It's too realistic, I guess. And it doesn't really do anything. I guess it turns sliding into more arcadey games that you might be used to sliding in. So maybe you might like that. But it has no practical purpose, I think, in this game. You might as well just dive forward in this game, because as soon as you dive, even when you're airborne, like prone like that, your gun acts as if you are prone. So you get a minus 66% recoil. You get less sway while you're midair. So you actually are like pinpoint accurate while diving. It's awesome. It makes you feel like you're playing Max Payne for anyone who remembers that game back in the day. Next, we have the Bulletstorm. The Bulletstorm is basically like an expendable stalwart. I really like this thing, like a lot. I was already excited for it, and I was like, oh, cool, mechs, whatever, but an expendable machine gun. A lot of people spoke really highly of it in HD1, and I was really excited to try out in HD2, and it didn't disappoint. Yes, it is light pen, but you get 2 of these on the Hellpod, so either side when it comes down, and what is it, 300 rounds each, and it has a stupid fast fire rate. I want to say it's 1,000 plus. I don't know exactly what the fire rate is, but it's definitely 1,000 plus. It might as well be the same as the Gallant at, 1,300. It's great. Love using this alongside other expendable weapons, or I just use it alongside, let's say, a Quasar or an Epoch, right? If I need some extra ad clear, but I don't want to bring a turret, because, in the previous video, we were talking about how Hive Guards exist now with heavy armor, and your machine gunner sentries and stuff like that would be wasting a lot of ammo on them. You could take this as an alternative. You are the turret, which is pretty cool. Small little note though, the call-in speed on it seems to be not taking into effect the ship upgrade. There is a ship upgrade to increase the speed of expendables, particularly like EAT and stuff like that. It's not affecting that. So it's a normal call-in speed. Like, I think it's like at default 6 seconds or something like that. And if you have the increased duration, obviously on the ship modifiers or mission modifiers, it goes to like 10. But anyways, gun's awesome. Very freaking fun. I think on like bugs and Illuminate, it will be higher, probably like somewhere in the A tier. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to be putting it in my next tier list. Subscribe for those. Yeah, I love this thing. On bots, it's definitely lower because it is just light pen. You have to be hitting more precision shots. You're going for leg shots and devastators and so on and so forth. And it's just less useful in general. So it'd probably be like a B minus B territory. But yeah, I really like the Bulletstorm. It's extremely fun and it has no recoil. You can be standing straight up and it barely moves. It's so much fun. They nailed it. Super fun. Next, we have the Lumberer, the first of our mechs. Before we get started, there seems to be a small bug with the flamethrower. If an enemy is too close and you're flamethrowing it, it basically does no beam damage. Because if you remember when we talk about flamethrowers in this game, there's the beam of fire and it just does flat damage per second, right? It just keeps in, do it. And then there's the damage over time that you apply to the enemies. This flamethrower seems to be more weighted towards the damage over time at the moment. And if you just sit there holding down mouse 1 on an enemy, it's kind of a waste of ammo. Wouldn't recommend it. The way I would use the Lumberer right now is just kind of like lighting the ground on fire and lighting individual enemies on fire with like short bursts of flamethrower here and there. doing it sparsely. The worst thing you can do is just hold down mouse 1 on a charger and just expect them to die like as fast as a cremator. It's not the cremator's flamethrower. It's the same as the flame sentry, which has also been tuned to have more range. So it's like 34 meters of range, which is crazy, but it seems to be brought down the beam damage, I guess, or it's bugged, not sure, but it does lots of damage per second over like damage over time. So lighting the ground on fire and lighting enemies on fire, you can still get multiple hundreds of kills on the Gloom faction front if you were just lighting the ground on fire and lighting the enemies on fire. Just be, conservative with the fire and it will do really great. And that turns into the ATE, the anti-tank emplacement. On your right arm, it is nuts. Only 25 rounds, which is a bit skimpy. I was expecting maybe 30 or 35, but it still packs a punch. It's 2 shots to the Gloom Ball Titan's head. And yes, I say that specifically because remember, the Gloom Ball Titan has an extra 500 HP, I believe. So it's 2,500 versus normal 2,000 for an EAT to 1 shot. It takes a little more, but you can still 2-shot it with the lumber. You can 2-shot a charger to the head or 1-shot the armor off and then finish off the leg, or allow a teammate to finish off the leg of a charger. You can 1-shot a Hulk, obviously. I think it's 3 shots to the eye versus a factory shrotter. It might be, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 shots to the eye. I think it's like 5 or 6 total to like just the head in general. Yeah, I think it's around 5 if I'm doing the math right on that. Good against harvesters. Just make sure to take down the shield first, which is a bit awkward because flamethrowers obviously don't do anything to the shields. Heat resistant, I guess. But yeah, very good if you know the anti-tank emplacement, you know the lumber's right arm. I don't believe there's any stats different. It seems to play out the exact same. I haven't seen the updated data mine stats on it, but it seems to be 1-to-1. Lumber feels great. It's not quite as good as the Emancipator mech. That is still the king mech just because of how versatile it is, but the lumber comes in probably a close second on overall power scale on the overall meta of mechs. That being said, it's maybe not the most fun mech with the current flamethrower being kind of bugged. We'll see how changes go through, but lighting enemies on fire and seeing anti-tank weapon just shoot is just very satisfying. And the sounds that they made for the anti-tank, very nice, very nice. Next, we have the heavy armor. And the reason why I left this one, and I'm pretty disappointed overall with the Oxygenator, is because the Oxygenator perk is very similar to the extra padded armor perk. And you might be like, wait, why? The Oxygenator perk, what it's doing is it's basically bringing you up 1 tier of movement speed while staying at that tier of armor rating, right? Kind of the opposite of what extra padding does, right? So the inverse armor to the Oxygenator would be the extra padded light, which does extra padding, right? So it brings you up to 100 armor rating and you get the light armor movement and, stamina regen, right? Now, there's one caveat there, and you might have heard me say it right there. Stamina regen. The stamina regen stays at 100 with the Oxygenator perk. So your stamina comes back slower, but it kind of gets balanced out because of the walking speed being buffed. And when you're getting your stamina back, you're walking, right? So as far as travel distance between light armor with extra padded versus Oxygenator, it comes out to about the same roughly. You may like the mobility of just being able to walk around faster. It is nice. You can even notice in the ship, it's about 10% faster or so, but the medium and heavy armor are just not as unique and useful as the light armor. The light armor is the true shiner because there is no other armor that allows you to run that fast. And boy, are you fast. You are the Roadrunner with stamina enhancement and the infused booster. Oh my God, you are fast. It's addicting. You almost don't want to take it off. The only reason I took it off was because the Superstar armor is excellent looking. And it reminds me of Warhammer 40k Darktide's Psyker armor. If you know, you know. Looks very cool. So yeah, pretty disappointed in the heavy armor from this Warbond. I'm kind of hoping maybe they'll do something else to it, but it's just kind of extra padded in different clothes. Yeah. Anyways, next is the missile pistol. I was kind of not really looking forward to this. I saw it in the trailer and I was like, oh, neat, I guess. But it really impressed me. It is halfway between a grenade pistol and an ultimatum. You get 4 total shots without siege ready versus obviously the 2 of the ultimatum. The damage, it says, is 1,300. 1,000 of it is Pen 5 anti-tank pen, 1,000 of it is the round, and then 300 is the explosive damage, pen 3. Pretty normal. Wouldn't really use it for the explosive damage. It's kind of irrelevant in this conversation. But the missile pistol doing 1,000 is very interesting because it hits certain breakpoints. Obviously, one-shotting a Hulk's eye, stripping the armor off of a behemoth charger. So what you can do is put this thing in unguided mode, shoot it even at close range at a charger's leg, swap to the Gallant, and then mag dump it, and you can kill a charger in like a couple seconds. It reminds me of the old railgun meta from back in the day, where you would charge a shot, strip the armor off the charger, swap to your primary, and finish it off. Like the original railgun meta. It feels really nice. And being able to do that to a bunch of chargers is sick. You can two-shot a normal ball titan to the head if you're accurate enough hitting the head. You can two-shot a behemoth charger to the head as well if you want to take that route, hitting them right in the forehead. It's just really useful for taking out targets. And when you need to take out fabricators and stuff like that, you can aim it pretty reliably. At about 100 meters, it self-explodes when unguided, because guided is not always the best. It's like I've talked about before, it's kind of a debuff at times because it tends to aim center mass rather than aiming at weak points. So if you get used to the bullet travel time, which can be a little slow at times, unguided is probably the preferred method for a lot of situations. But it does guide to, fabricators, bug holes, and so on and so forth if you want to take that route, and it does blow bug holes. So really like the missile pistol. I want to say it's like an A tier at least. It might even be S tier. We'll see how it navigates the meta over time and how people absorb it and if I continue to use it or not. But honestly, at the moment, it's really nice because I was moving away from the great pistol, not using as much as I used to, but it's really nice to have a little bit of that grenade pistol ability to take out lots and lots of bug holes, but also have the ultimatums ability to deal with armored targets if I'm accurate. It's really cool. I like it. They did a good job with it. So solid A tier secondary weapon across basically every faction. I think it's useful in every single one. Yeah, it's nice. Really nice. All right. And lastly, out of the actual combat variants of this Warbond is the breakthrough. This is easily the most fun mech that we have. Easily. It is so much fun to run around meleeing things and knocking around chargers, as you can see here, and shotgunning them in the face. I was worried at first about the shotgun in particular because I was like, oh man, is this thing only going to have 6 rounds? And what are they going to do? It has 70 total rounds, 6 in the magazine when you first load in. It is rounds reloaded, and you get 64 in reserve. You can shoot 1 round and then reload if you want, and it's actually pretty fast. I don't know if we have a clip of it, but shoot and then spam the reload, shoot, spam the reload. If you basically do both at the same time, you actually fire pretty fast and it feels like a bottomless magazine. So kind of recommend that. It's pretty sick, but you can fire it faster. Obviously, if you don't do that, it's rounds reloaded. So if you reload early, you don't waste anything, but you can't shoot again until it fully fills up the magazine. I wasn't able to, shoot it or interrupt it. It's not like a shotgun where you might be 3 shells into reloading and then you take a shot. Doesn't do that. It has to be fully reloaded. So that's why I kind of recommend shooting and reloading at the same time. Fires off 1, reload, fire off 1, reload. And then actually that first shell reloads really fast, which is interesting. Damage wise, it is very high. It is pen 4 and tons of projectiles. But if you shoot it into the sky, you'll notice there's a good grouping of about maybe 10 projectiles in a slug formation. So it's actually more accurate than you would believe at doing moderate damage. You definitely want to be as close as possible to the target to do reliable big damage. And when I mean big damage, I mean you can 2-shot a charger. The first shot strips the armor, second shot kills the leg, but you have to be very close, kind of like that. But what's kind of cool is that you can walk up to them, shield bash them with your left click to do that unique melee attack, and they're going to be stunned for a second and then double tap their leg. It's pretty cool. Battle Titans, the lowest count I could get on killing the head was 4, but I think theoretically if you get good enough at just getting close and not dying to their spit or whatever, I think you can maybe do it in 2, but it's kind of awkward because the head is up high and it's a pretty small hitbox, but I think you basically have to barrel stuff them. You can kill Hulks right in the eye, which is really cool, flanking tanks and dropping them fast. I would be extremely careful about Factory Striders. They are your worst enemy because of the top turret, but the shotgun can take off the top turret. That is something that you could do with the Lumberer. With this particular weapon, it's kind of like shooting an AMR. You're not going to really be doing that with the breakthrough as much. And the shield will absorb some damage, but I do think that explosive damage is going through the shield and hitting the arm. I had a couple awkward moments where the shield didn't break, but the arm broke, but nothing was shooting me in the back or the side. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but the shield is very tanky. Like if I take the Gallant with like 50 rounds plus and just shoot it into the shield, I think it dropped the, I think the percentage from like, 100% to like 87%. So in total, like damage it can absorb, and it is medium armor, by the way, it's pretty high. It's pretty damn high. I never had a situation where my shield actually like fully depleted. It was usually like the arm broke or I ran out of ammo with the shotgun. And at that point, I was just mailing everything and just died. But the melee is very powerful. It staggers a lot and it does a lot of damage. Unfortunately, the spore variant of bugs is kind of counterintuitive to that, because every time you kill a bug in close range, they explode, doing a little bit of damage to your mech every single time you do that. So eventually your mech just falls over dead because of that, which is unfortunate. But normal bugs, this thing is sick. Yeah, it's just really, 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 really fun, very satisfying. It's probably the least powerful of the mechs that we have, but it's easily the most fun. So keep that in mind. Obviously, we have the thumbs up of approval, which is decent. We have the all white pattern, which I've been rocking. Looks nice. The exosuit certified badge, your normal bits and bobs, nothing crazy. Technically a new variant of cape, a little bit different shaped. And that is the Warbond as it is. I want to say I'm quite happy with this Warbond. Controversy aside, it's a solid A tier. I can't really put it any higher or lower. I think maybe if the Lumberer got some changes to the flamethrower, it could be potentially higher, or the Gallant got some extra magazines, but it's just incredibly solid. If you are an exosuit enjoyer, this is the Warbond for you. If you're not, the other bits and bobs are useful, right? Expendable MG, missile pistol, and the Gallant, all solid offerings, but it's nothing that I feel like you have to pick up, right? The missile pistol is a nice thing to have, but I think you might fit more into the grenade pistol from Democratic Detonation, or fit more into the ultimatum from Servants of Freedom. It'll be personal preference. As always, it's personal preference, but for my personal likings, it's probably somewhere in the A tier. But as I always like to say with Warbonds, they tend to age like fine wine. They get feedback from the community on pros, cons, so on and so forth. And over the next couple of patches, months or so, things change. So keep your eye out. Come on by the stream, ask me about it. As far as the Superstar, we did get a new page of it. We were already talking about it a little bit before. This is literally the Psyker armor from Darktide. I swear it is. It looks just like it. And this helmet, if you've played Outer Worlds 2, I swear this is like one of the guards have like helmets like that with the really small peepholes. I don't know. It looks oddly similar to it. But you get the cape, and you get the Noblest payload as well. So yeah, I like the Warbond. For anyone wondering, are you just like glazing it because you were paid or you got these for free? I actually bought this Warbond. I've been trying my best to actually buy the Warbonds before they gift them to us, because as content creators, Odo, Thick, so on and so forth, they just basically send us the Warbonds on the day of, fully unlocked and stuff like that. They're usually late, so I usually buy them as soon as possible, and then they can unlock everything for me later. I wanted to not have that over top of me of saying like, oh, you're just getting these for free, you're getting paid. No, dude, I paid for it with my super credits that I grinded out. So this isn't just some like they're giving it to me and I'm glazing it. No, I'm trying to look at it as objectively as possible, try to bring up the controversy so people are informed, but this is how I actually look at the Warbond. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for coming on by. Consider dropping by the streams, linked down below, both on YouTube or Twitch. Maple_TV on YouTube. It's a separate YouTube channel, just heads up. We'll be playing lots of Helldivers and some Far Far West, so if you're interested in that, it's basically like Helldivers and Deep Rock Galactic and a little bit of Risk of Rain come together. It's pretty cool. Highly recommend. We're going to be playing that on the latter half of the stream, so first half Helldivers, second half Far Far West. Come on by. I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Like, comment, sub, and leave a comment down below. What do you guys think of the Warbond? What do you think of the controversy? Love to hear your thoughts. Peace out, YouTube. Bye.